Alright, this is What If Deku Wasn't Uchiha finale. Yes, we're finishing off on part 3. That's where we're finishing it. Today, I think where we left off was where they all got to, Deku, Uraraka, and the rest of the Wild Wild Pussycats, plus Aizawa, made it back to the training camp. And sorry for any background noise. People are just loud in this house. Anyway, so and it took the rest of them. I want to say 5 hours for 5 hours and 30 minutes for the rest to get there. Because giant rock / earth monsters that kind of blocked their path were obstacles. So Deku, no, not Deku. The Wild Wild Pussycats made Deku and Uraraka dinner. The rest had to make dinner for themselves, but Deku actually helped. Deku helped even though he didn't have to. He did it anyway. So if you need a recap on what Deku's Sharingan is the mixture of Fugaku's up there top with the three dots and swirly swirly, and Shisui's right there. Shisui, just in case of some of you can't, spell or read. Alright, so Deku's Sharingan is the combination of both of those I just showed you. So Deku now is helping them make dinner. He's already said hello to Koda. Koda still tried to punch Deku. Deku just dodged him and knocked him out. He wasn't playing any games. He dodged him, knocked him out. So the Wild Wild Pussycats were scared on what he just did to Koda. Deku said, "I'm not getting punched for this little kid's ego. I'm not doing that. I'm not having another Bakugo. I'm not having another Bakugo all over again. If I had him called him Kachan, he's calling him Bakugo now." Alright, continuing forward. So now Deku, skipping a bit, they did actual training, not that training they did in canon. They did the actual training, and the villain attack still happens. Muscular versus Koda. Well, no, not Koda. Muscular versus Deku. Since Deku doesn't have one for all, he would just have to rely on his pure strength and the quirks he copied. But Deku decides to use a technique that he hasn't used in a while. Deku decides to use the Tsukuyomi, which puts them under a genjutsu. And if you don't know what that is, I will probably show you at the end of the video, because as the outro, so you can see what Shisui's. Well, it's gonna be Shisui's genjutsu, or Tsukuyomi. So if you won't be able to see, whatever it's called, whatever Shisui's thing is called. Well, I know it's a genjutsu anyway. So yeah, he's using that. I'll probably put it at the end of the video so you guys can see it. Again, at the end of the video so you guys can see it. Anyway, Deku put him under the thing. Muscular starts backing up in real life and in his mental consciousness until he falls off the cliff. And his mental consciousness has been obliterated by Shisui's Deku's genjutsu. So Deku, really not dealing with any of Koda's bullcrap, grabs Koda by the arm, puts him over his shoulder, and starts walking away. Starts straight up walking away back to Mr. Aizawa, and uses the lightning quirk and gives Kota to Aizawa. Then uses his lightning quirk all around his body and starts blitzing it around everyone else. Basically, it's like Killua with his Godspeed, but not exactly as fast as Godspeed. More so a lot slower, but at the same time, faster than Deku with 50% of One For All activated. Yeah, that's how fast he is in his lightning mode. So, He's blitzing around. Then he finds Tsukuyomi going absolutely bonkers. So Deku uses the explosion quirk he copied from Bakugo, at the same time using his electricity quirk to light up the area as well. Since Tokuyami told him, the weakness of Dark Shadow, being exposed to light, he'll get weaker and weaker. And really, there's not enough to go over about that. Deku runs over to Bakugo and Todoroki. All he does is I want to say his name is Silverfish, fish something. I want to say Silverfish. So all he does is literally just jump on top of Silverfish and use his lightning quirk on him, and just jumps off of him again. And he jumps off of him by using a explosion quirk. Well, Bakugo's explosion quirk. Alright. Real talk right here. Real talk. Of course, I'm gonna finish what if Deku was the reincarnation of himself. I'm gonna finish that probably tonight or tomorrow, whichever one works really. But after this, do you want to see what if Deku had an explosion quirk, but not like Bakugo's, It's gonna be something completely different. Or what if Deku? Well, what if I was in Dragon Ball Z? You can pick one, and I'll do the other one after I finish the other series. So yeah, I just want to know what do you want to see, stuff like that. Because I really don't think I've been, giving enough priority about what people want and stuff like that. Anyway, continuing on with the video. And then Bakugo's like, I didn't need your help. Just going on and spiel how he's better than him no matter what he does. And Deku's like, alright, shut up and come on. They're coming after you. And Deku just puts this man in the Kamui timeline universe thingy, pocket space. That's what I'm calling Kamui pocket space. And he also put Tokuyami there so he doesn't, have to use his quirk. So Mr. Compress, looking around the Ichi, seeing this, knowing that he can't get it. He tries to go in there, but he can't. He physically can't get there. He's gonna need, Deku to actually use Kamui to get there. And Todoroki and Deku meet up with Uraraka and Sue. And of course Toga. And Toga's about to run away. And Deku just puts his hand on the ground and makes a stream of electricity chasing down Toga. The electricity grabs Toga while shocking her, brings her on back, and Deku makes a lightning cage with the lightning quirk that he's been mostly using, and traps Toga with it. So no one's really impressed. They're not. They're more so impressed and shocked because it's Deku we're talking about. So not Toga, not Deku either. Uraraka and Sue thank Deku, and alright. Real question. Do you guys want me to start doing ships as well? Because if most of the Viori wants me to do ships, I'll do ships. I'll start making ships in my video. I will. Don't worry. Anyway, continuing on with the video. So Toga captured the the League of Villains retreat earlier, since two of their members just suddenly disappeared. More of them were captured by the Wild Wild Pussycats, and they can't get Bakugo, which was their main goal. So Mr. Compress feels the need to at least get Deku so he can get Bakugo out. So he tries to trap him in the marble, But Deku just puts him under a genjutsu, whichever one. And yeah, he's stuck there until 700,000 years in his mindscape, but like 5 seconds on the outside. Yeah. So after 5 seconds gone by, you just hear Mr. Compressed yelling, which alerts the Wow Wow Pussycats, and they capture Mr. Compressed. Yes, they capture Mr. Compressed. Alright, here's the ones who got escaped. Dabi, Denomu, Kirigiri, because that's the one who let them escape, and Twice. Those are the only ones that managed to escape. And everything with the Nomu and Momo still happened. Like every other thing still happened. Just one incinerate, one dead, and multiple captured. Some still out there. So Deku, feels like this is a success. Like this is a success, and tells the Wawa Pussycats that he's captured one, and the Wawa Pussycats put her in custody. And skipping all over to the All for One arc, that pretty much goes exactly the same. But this time All for One got All Might onto the ground. Deku just since he was already there helping. Well, since no, he wasn't there because Bakugo didn't get kidnapped. But Deku rushes over there with his lightning quirk, and as soon as he gets there, he jumps up in the air with explosions, puts his lightning quirk infused with his explosion quirk into his hand, and absolutely explodes slash electrocute explode and electrocutes All for One in the back. Then he does one of those again, but into his side, and then he does both of them on the ground to boost himself up. Then he does a makeshift howitzer impact with his explosions and electricity going around it. Alright, I remember now. Bakugo and Deku are friends, but they have a rivalry. They have more so of a rivalry. They are friends, but also rivals at the same time. That's why Bakugo still calls him Deku rather than Midoriya or Izuku. And that's why Deku calls him Bakugo instead of Kachan or anything like that. Anyway, All for One gets up and says, "I need your quirk, kid." And Deku's like, "I'm gonna stay all the way back here. You can try. I'm gonna stay back here." And goes and uses lightning quirk. This man starts doing the moonwalk with his lightning quirk and starts dashing it backwards. And he charges up a gigantic lightning beam in his finger. Well, it's not gigantic. It's more so tiny, condensed, and strong. And you can see little explosions coming off of his finger. So yeah, the explosions are gonna make the momentum even faster for the beam. And Deku says, "All Might, can I kill him?" And All Might says, "No, of course not. We have to put him into custody." And Deku's like, "Alright, fine." So Deku aims for where his eye's supposed to be. And if you're wondering, is that gonna kill him? No, All for One has a regeneration quirk, remember? Anyway, then Deku's like, regeneration, huh? Let's see how far that gets you. And literally charges up another one of those and cuts off his leg with it. If you're wondering how that works, he shot it and then moved it around and chopped off his leg with it. It doesn't, the regeneration's not that good, so it doesn't heal up, a torn limb. So Nico's like, but what? No, but it does stop the bleeding. So Nico's like, so there is limits to your regeneration, huh? And he cut off his left leg, so Deku goes for his left arm. So, if he tries to get away, he's going to be a lot slower, and he's probably just going to, fly in a circle. And Deku says, "All Might, get him, or I'll kill him." And Deku's like, no. And All Might just says, "Don't kill him, heroes aren't supposed to kill him." And Deku's like, yeah, I've heard that whole spiel before. And then an unknown person walks up to the ring. It is Hazashi, Deku's father. So Deku turns around and sees his dad with Rai Sharingan. Rai. I don't know what his abilities are, but I'm just gonna give him the same abilities that Kakashi's Sharingan has. Anyway, so he's like, Dad? And Hazashi just like, heh, of course, kid. Now, I'm gonna kill you. And Deku's getting like flashbacks when Hazashi walked out on Inko. And Deku just gets mad. His hair turns all the way black. He grows he makes the perfect Susanoo. Like Sasuke's Susanoo that he made against Naruto, the final fight. And the Susanoo has like electricity sparking all around it. The Susanoo summons the crossbow. A bow, an arrow just appears out of thin air into the crossbow. The bow, no, not the bow. The arrow turns into electricity, and the electricity starts like sparking up explosions. So, and Deku's like, all right. Deku's like, all right, old man, time for you to die. And Deku aims exactly at his head and shoots. But Hazashi uses his own Susanoo, and his Susanoo is dark red, while Deku's is black. Well, dark, like the darkest green you can get, fading into black. And and Hazashi Susanoo is basically like Madara's perfect Susanoo. And Deku just smirks and says, "Oh, you think this is all I can do, huh, old man?" Deku summons a sword. Well, Deku Susanoo summons a sword. He uses the Amaterasu flames. The Amaterasu flame engulf the sword. Electricity comes off the sword, and he charges at Hazashi Susanoo, and Hazashi does the same exact thing, but with his own sword. And they're having a Susanoo sword battle. Both of the Susanoos grow wings. They fly up into the air and they start having a duel upon duels. But the one thing that the reason why Hazashi walked out on Inko was she was the former Tsuriki. But laws of states and stuff of the Naruto universe, if you have a kid, you either have to pass the nine tails down, well, not the nine tails specifically, but like the tail beast down, or keep the tail beast inside of yourself. And she decided to pass down the the tail beast to Deku. And no, it's not gonna be the nine tails. It's not gonna be the nine tails. It's more so going to be It's gonna be the two tails. Two tails. One of my favorites. One of my fan favorites. So Deku gets forced into his subconsciousness, but his Susanoo is still fighting. Deku looks around, wondering where he is. And out of nowhere, he sees a gigantic cage with Matatabi, the two tails, inside of the cage. And Matatabi, if you don't know what Matatabi looks like, just imagine a tiger with blue fur and black stripes. And the stripes are swervy. The stripes are like swervy, like, right? That's what sorry for the noise. That's what Matatabi would look like. Just imagine. And of course, gigantic. That's what Matatabi would look like. Well, that's what Matatabi looks like. So Matatabi smirks and says, "Hey kid, finally time that you've met me, huh?" And Deku's like, "Who are you?" And Matatabi says, "I am the Two Tails." And Deku's like, "No. Okay, I can see you have two tails." but what's your name? Like, what am I supposed to call you? I don't want to call you just like Two Tails. And Matatabi is more so shocked because, no one's ever, like, questioned what her name, I'm gonna assume Matatabi's a girl. So she never, thought that anyone would actually, ask her name. So Matatabi says, "My name is Matatabi. I am here to help you in your battle." And Deku's like, "Oh, alright." So Matatabi breaks through the cage and reaches a hand out. And Deku, on first instinct, decides to high-five it. Yes, he high-fived Matatabi. And now Deku has the power of Matatabi. So if you don't know what Madara did, like in his past, he fused the Nine Tails with his Susanoo. So that's what Deku does. Fuses Matatabi with his Susanoo. So now it is Matatabi absorbed in a dark green fading into black. Well, the darkest green there is, fading into a black with its armor basically. And Deku's just like in the main crown of it, like at the top of it. And Deku's Deku yells, "Alright, Matatabi, let's do this." And basically, Matatabi raises its two tails, and they start making a tail beast bomb. Hazashi is completely shocked at what he's seeing, because he did not know that Inko decided to, pass Matatabi down to a kid, to his son, Izuku Midoriya. So now, Deku is making a tail beast bomb, and he's infusing the lightning quirk he got into it, the explosion quirk he got, and of course, his Amaterasu. And he launches it and absolutely obliterates the Susanoo's armor. However, Hazashi is still alive. So, Deku drops out of the Susanoo and Matatabi mode, and starts walking over to Hazashi in a slow walk. And Hazashi is like in his head screaming, "No, this can't be the end. Not yet. I can't lose to this brat." So, out of fear and anger, Hazashi shoots back up into his Susanoo. Deku surrounds himself in Susanoo, but not the gigantic Susanoo, but just normal Susanoo armor. And he goes both of Matatabi's tails. Basically, the Nine Tails Kurama mode that Naruto has? He basically used that, but Two Tails edition, and he grew both two tails along with the armor of Susanoo, and he pulls out a sword that came with the Susanoo armor, and starts walking even more, starts walking a little bit faster and faster till he starts running. He charges at him, jumps up in the air, grabs his sword and fuses it with a Materasu, and absolutely penetrates the Susanoo, and the Susanoo fades. And there you see it. Deku impaling his own father, Hazashi Midoriya, right through the arm. Well, no, not the arm. Right through his chest. And Hazashi just coughs up blood. They both fall to the ground. Deku pulls the sword out of Hazashi's chest, puts it back into his sheath, and drops down back to his base form. And he asks if Hazashi had any final words. And Hazashi tells Deku about the bomb he implanted in his chest. Well, no, in his body. And as soon as his heart stops beating, the bomb will explode. I know this sounds like Netero from Hunter x Hunter, but I promise you, I'm just doing this for like effects. You know, I always take some. You know, there's like effects and stuff like that. So Deku, immediately taking it upon himself, grabs Hisashi, starts using his lightning quirk, and starts running as fast as his lightning quirk will take him, pushing his lightning quirk to the absolute limit until he's about to run out of exhaustion. Then Masatabi lends Deku some of his energy, which allows him to run even faster. And Deku just throws Hisashi into a lake and starts running back before he explodes. And in Hisashi's heart, you can hear tick, 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 boom. And in an entire 30-mile radius, it's exploding. And the explosion is expanding. Deku's running. He is 5 inches away from the explosion. So Deku uses the explosion / mix of lightning and starts, exploding his way. Well, starts using the explosions to go even faster and starts blitzing. Starts outrunning the explosion and makes it back to where he was before. Deku, out of breath, drops down to his knees and starts panting. All for One got put in custody. Well, he wouldn't be able to do anything. Just stop the bleeding. All for One got put in custody. All Might walks over to Deku. Well, Deku, still panting. And says, "You did good, kid. You did good." And no. Oh, hold on. Let me mention. Wait, hold on. I'm pretty sure Mirio was the person that All Might gave his quirk to. If it wasn't, it's Mirio. Anyway, continuing on. The next day at UA, everyone's calling Deku a hero. Because, that was all, recorded and stuff like that. It was all recorded. So everyone's asking about, his new powers, stuff like that. And Deku's like, alright, I really don't feel in the mood for talking. I'm still a bit tired from that. I exhausted almost all of my energy. So I need some rest. And that's all I get to, because, that'll take out a lot of energy out of him. And he says, alright, you get to skip class for a day. You don't get any homework or stuff like that. Just go to your dorm, rest for a bit. And then you hear Denki say, "Come on, how was that fair?" And Aizawa just looks at him while using his quirk and says, "Did I stutter?" And Kaminari just shuts up real quickly. So Deku goes back to his dorm. Goes back to the dorms, opens his dorm room, closes it, and immediately falls onto his bed, asleep. 2 hours later, Deku wakes up, stretches, and still feels a bit tired. But he has an empty stomach. So Deku goes back. Deku goes to the kitchen, makes himself something to eat, and sees, 1A's back from class. So it says, "Hey guys, you guys okay?" And they're like, "Aren't you supposed to be resting?" And Deku says, "Yeah, I kind of woke up because I was on an empty stomach." They're like, "Oh, alright." And Deku just makes himself alright, hold on. I'm trying to think of something. Alright, this man makes some sausages. He made some sausages and some fried eggs. Because I'm going to say he didn't get to eat breakfast. He had to wake up immediately because he was almost late. So yeah, this man's pretty much eating his breakfast. He eats it, throws his plate in the garbage, goes back to his room, and goes back to sleep. Now, the next day, Mirio and the rest of the big three come in. The same thing happens. They all have to fight Mirio. Deku just sees Mirio's thing as a little taunt. So Deku's like, alright, And Deku, well no, Mirio appears right behind Deku. Deku just turns around and opens his eyes with the Fugaku mixed with Shisui's eye, well Sharingan, and puts him under a Genjutsu. Well, the Genjutsu that Shisui uses. And Mirio gets absolutely traumatized. Well, if you're wondering, no, I'm not going into season 5 because I haven't started it yet. I'm waiting for season 5 to finish. Then I'll start. Then I'll watch it again. Well, then I'll watch season 5. Mirio is absolutely terrified, and Deku releases the Genjutsu, and Mirio falls to his knees. And Deku's like, "All right, I guess that means I win then, huh?" And Mirio just chuckles and says, "Yeah, I guess you do." And Deku still goes to Night Eyes. Deku takes the pass easily from him. There's really nothing to go over. Everything went the exact same. But this time, the overall fight will be a bit different. Overall trained for a bit because, he saw, the All For One fight and what happened with Deku and, All Might. So he took it upon himself just in case to train himself up a bit because he saw him earlier. He saw, Deku earlier. So he trains up for a bit, which makes him stronger. Well, which is going to make him stronger. So Deku's actually going to have a, Deku will still be able to beat him easily. But at least he's a bit stronger. Anyway, Deku goes up against, skipping all of that, Deku goes up against, Overhaul. Same thing basically happens. Overhaul goes into the air. Deku just unleashes Matatabi and uses the, fire hairball attack that Matatabi has. And, starts obliterating body parts off the gigantic bird freak thing. And then he just regenerates it. So Deku takes upon himself to destroy the entire thing by using a tail beast bomb. So he does, and one of Overhaul's lackeys took Overhaul before, he got killed. Sorry about that. Hold on, how long is this recording? Great, 32 minutes. Well, worth it. So, and Deku saw that, so Deku goes out of Matsutabi mode after he launched the Tail Beast Bomb, sprints over to Overhaul and his lackey, knocks both of them out, and brings them both to Aizawa. Now, Festival and Gentle Criminal Arc go exactly the same. I know this ending's a bit lazy because it's currently 2:44 where I am, and I really don't feel like editing for like 5 hours just to get this done. So again, sorry for the noise, and this is where I'm gonna put Shisui's thing. Goodbye. Oh, flip is still recording.